Hey guys, Tanna here with another SINoALICE video. Gran Colo is coming really soon. Actually, it's this Sunday and the registration will be up later on today. It is actually 5:30 AM right here in Singapore, and even though I'm supposed to be sleeping right now and sneezing non-stop today doesn't really help with my condition. I think I got a flu. But probably not that flu. Yeah, anyway, let's carry on with the video. I'm no expert of Colosseum, but I do know some basics. I've been playing Colo since day one and gotten some tips and read up some stuff on Colo. Not really in depth, but enough to get by. So let's move on with the basic stuff today. As the title suggests, today I'm gonna be talking about Colosseum Beginner's Guide and drop some tips along the way. Okay, so the first thing, let's head over to this website. Okay, the usual one. Right here, gonna list down, some of the jobs or rather different classes in SINoALICE. So basically, we are split into two different roles: the Vanguard, or rather the DPS, and then the Rearguard, which is also the support. So in Colosseum, preferably, you have a maximum of 5 Vanguard, no more, no less, 5 Vanguard exactly, okay, which I'm gonna be using this video right here. Where is it? Okay, which I'm gonna be using this video right here to actually explain. Let me pause this. Okay, so Vanguard in the front. Okay, so 5 of us, and then okay, these are the rear guards for the enemies. Okay, these are our rear guards at the back. Okay, and with that, let's head back to the browser to talk about the different roles and classes. Okay, so for Vanguard DPS, we have actually 4 different type of weapons: swords, hammer, bows, and spears. Sword being a physical single target weapon, hammer being a physical AoE weapon, bow being magical single target, and finally spear being magical AoE damage. So you need to have 5 Vanguards in your guild, to put him in the Colosseum. No more, no less. More is actually redundant because 90% damage reduction in the back of the team. So any Vanguard that is placed behind, you're gonna deal only 10% of what that Vanguard is supposed to be doing, which is a huge waste actually. And then right here at the back, okay, these are Rearguard support, which are also the units right here. Okay, we have Buffer, aka Minstrels, who uses instruments to buff the team, okay, to play music, which is actually like bards. And then we have Debuffers, aka Sorcerers, who uses tombs, okay, not orbs. And then finally we have Healers, aka Clerics, who uses staff or staves. Okay, finally here the class that must not be named, aka Mages, that uses orbs. Okay, I have no idea why they actually exist, since SINoALICE is mainly a guild PvP game, which is in Colosseum. And then the strange thing is, demon summoning doesn't buff orbs. Period. And since mages are supposed to be in the back, aka the rear guards, orbs actually deal 90% less damage as well. So they actually have no place in Colosseum. So that being said, moving on to the next point, which is the title of the day. This is actually more like a PSA for the rear guards. Remove orbs for Colosseum. Yes, overall you're gonna lose points, but the general idea is orbs don't do much in Colosseum. Okay, they actually do something, which is add stats to your character, but when you actually use the orbs, they don't do much stuff. So my advice to you is, okay, maybe you can start filtering out, by only using your L orbs if your score is too low, and then slowly remove all the orbs, and then of course slowly transit to your roles. If you're a minstrel, start using more instruments. If you're a sorcerer, start using more tombs, and finally if you're a healer, start using more stave or stuff. But we are still relatively new into the game, as just a month old, so we don't really have that much options yet. But slowly as you pull for different banners, especially the Near Automata one, and the next one will be Near Replicant, from there we have more options to slowly filter out our gear sets. Okay, let's talk about the next stuff, which is during the battle itself. Let's switch over to the video itself. I actually recorded this earlier on today. Okay, as you can see here, this is the battlefield front, and then this is the rear. You can also look at your enemy. Okay, I'm not sure why it glitched. It is the enemy rear guard. So in the Colosseum, you can actually click on the name of your guild, okay, which is highlighted right there. You can actually take a look at your Vanguard and then scroll down. Actually, there's one using CPU. You can see right there. Okay, CPU right here. He's actually AFK for 2 days. So even though he's our top DPS, I had to actually remove him because of 2-3 days of not playing Colosseum. He hurts the guild a lot. And then you can actually look at your rear guard. Okay, almost full attendance. Also remove Aria. I hope they come back. you know, after they are busy with whatever they have in real life. I'll welcome you back, guys, even though we're actually 15 out of 15 right now. And then interestingly, you also can actually look at your opponent. Okay, right here. You can actually check out the stats of the opponent right there. Okay, let me backtrack a bit. So very important, you are able to look at the team's information, namely like, you know, who is actually not present, which is indicated by the CPU. You can also take a look at the HP, your attack, defense, all your stats, etc. in this guild information right here. As for enemy side, you will not be able to see if they are actually online at the moment, you know, using CPU or not. But you can actually check them out before Colosseum itself. You can actually see who's the strongest unit, the weakest unit during and also before Colosseum as well, so that you can strategize on who to take out, you know, who to buff, who to debuff, you know, which is done during preparation. Okay, speaking of preparation, let's head back to the game. Okay, so you just click here and then it'll show you the other guild that you're gonna be rivaling with. Okay, so for yesterday we were facing against Asterism. Okay, they actually removed 3 members after the Colo last night. Okay, you can actually check out like who's AFK and who's on, you know, before the fight, and then you can actually see like how many vanguards, how many rear guards they actually have. So example right here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, front guard. Okay, this is really important, rear guard preference. If this is actually not ticked, it says no, this guy will be in the front. Okay, so this is something to take note of. And then your rear guard here, and then this is the 4th member and the 5th member. Okay, if there's a DPS anywhere, it'll be placed in the rear. So you can actually check out their lineup, things like that. For some reason, some guilds actually have like more than 5 DPS, which is not ideal since the 6 DPS, 7 DPS will not be doing much in the Colosseum anyways. So preparation is really important. You can actually, you know, check out your opponent guilds. And the next thing I want to talk about is nightmares. Okay, let's go to nightmares. Okay, nightmare right here. I'm only gonna talk about this really briefly. So try to coordinate with your guild, like who is gonna cast what nightmares, since you'll be able to only cast them once during the whole fight, and one person can only cast 1. So potentially 15 nightmares can be summoned throughout the whole Colosseum. But with the consideration that they need to prepare, they actually have casting time and all that. So ideally you should be able to cast around 10 nightmares. I'm not sure how many nightmares you can cast, but preferably as many as possible so that you can get some, you know, advantage during the Colosseum itself. So basically there are paid and gacha nightmares which are really strong since they use 0 SP compared to the free ones that we can farm. Try to coordinate with your guild the rotation of your nightmares, who is gonna cast it immediately and then cast what nightmare. So ideally, the first thing, in my opinion, the first thing that is supposed to be cast is actually the library whips. Massively raise defense, physical and magical for all surviving allies. Okay, this is the same thing for Colo 8. Okay, Colo skills. Okay, this is actually surviving frontline allies, and the duration is 0. So look out for those 0 duration because it's a buff that will last throughout the whole fight. So you can actually filter this. Okay, you can scroll right down. Okay, so the 4 nightmares that have this kind of buffs are library whips, disembodied Emil, tricky whips, and Fina. Everybody has Fina. Based on this Wikipedia, you can actually, you know, check out which nightmare you can actually line up with. You can actually coordinate with your guild, who has what nightmares, you know, when to use what. Detailed nightmare stuff, we can probably talk about that in future advanced video, you know, like advanced Colosseum guide, where we will talk about nightmares, weapons, and, you know, progression for Vanguard, you know, Rearguard. So if you are interested in that, you know, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so next up, let's take a look at the weapons. Okay, weapons here. Okay, specifically the C8 skill. Okay, you can actually filter here. Okay, C8 skills. So for DPS, the number one thing to take note of is Dauntless Courage, which I've talked about so many times in my videos. So look out for Dauntless Courage 2, okay, which fixed chance to moderately increase damage while attacking. Okay, this is a really strong buff to have in a Colosseum. You want to have as many as this in your set. The next one to take note of is this Replenish Magic for DPS. Okay, fixed chance to moderately reduce SP consumption while executing commands. Okay, this is really good. Reduce your SP consumption so that you go into recovery mode less. This is the second best thing to have besides Dauntless Courage. And then scroll right down. Okay, support boon for buffer and debuffer. This is the Colo 8 skill to look out for. This is the only one. And then finally for our healers, where's the healing one? Okay, recovery support here. Okay, recovery support 2. These are the weapons that you want to be looking out for our healers. Near Replicant, there's I think a couple of weapons that actually have this as well. So save your gems up for Near Replicant. And then let's head back to the game. I want to be talking about the skills. So for example, I have B slot. Okay, B slot has Dauntless Courage 2, which I want to be raising. So try to level those Colo 8 skills that I just mentioned, just a while ago. And then you can actually try to level up the skills evenly, like the weapons itself, so that you can use lesser materials for more effects. And then one thing to note is you can actually use the near medals to actually exchange for all these. I actually have not done so. I'm gonna do it towards the end. You can actually exchange them for Colo gems. All these, they are actually all Colo gems. If you have spare, okay, the story gems will help you in your PvE as well. As for armor, use what you have. Okay, this is what I'm using right now. You need to farm for a lot of materials to evolve them. And so far, I don't think there's like a PvP armor. No, not even in JP. These are the ones that we have. So use the best that you can. Okay, one thing I want to note is the rank. So rank actually increases your HP. Okay, let me go to the website again. If you click right here, rank, they actually tell you like the details for rank. So for example, I'm actually rank 88 right now. Yep, I'm actually rank 88 right now. Okay, you scroll right there, you can actually see next how much AP you get, max HP you get, and then the sub slots. Okay, I'm 88 right now. So these are what I have. I have a max HP of 12,550. You can actually add the job stats as well. That will be your final HP. And then cost will increase 1 every level. Okay. And then the sub slot, you only increase at level 100. So a long way to go for me. So rank actually matters if you want to, make yourself stronger. So this is something to take note. For HP, it's actually more important for Vanguard because we are in the front and we are the only ones taking the damage. So for Rearguard, you do not have to worry about the HP, but rather the cost, which are required to equip higher costing weapons. So rank is important for everyone. So since we need to equip higher cost weapons. And then let's head back to the game. Okay, I want to note this especially for Rearguard, as I actually mentioned earlier in the video. Okay, this is really important. Okay, so click on your guild, you go to preference. If you are Rearguard preferred, click on the confirm so that you will not be in the front if you have high points. So you just click no, and then right there, you can also click refuse to switch as well. So Colosseum preference is really important. And then back to the player. Okay, next I want to talk about SP recovery. Okay, once again, preferably arrange this with your guild, so that you guys can rotate in and out of recovery. In case somebody dies, you can actually inform your teammate that you're dead and then you need to hit the revive button. So preferably during Colosseum, you guys are on voice call or on Discord or have a way to actually communicate with each other. That would be great. Personally, I also recover in between ships and fights. So whenever you transit, when you're transiting and attacking opponent ship, or after you down it, you move in and out of combat, that is the time to recover as well, just a little bit. You can actually do like 1 or 2 waves. One really tricky timing to get is actually during the demon summoning, aka the Shinma. If you're able to time it correctly, you can actually enter the recovery mode during demon summoning, which will be able to save a lot of time. And you're safe to recover your SP during that time, because during that time, all you can see is the summon. Okay, let me just... Okay, demon approaches. Okay, as you can see right here, at this point, I'm out. Okay, so I hit the recovery, knowing that we are gonna get it. Okay, so just nice when I return to battle, is just nice the demon was summoned. Okay, and then we get a buff. We actually won this one and we lost the second one. Okay, so we get all this. So this is something to take note of. If you're losing the demon, you can also go into recovery as well. There you have to coordinate with your guild. This is especially important for Vanguard, since Vanguard need to keep going with the rotation, the weapons and recovery, etc. Since there's actually only 5 Vanguard in the Colosseum. So let's talk about demon summoning right now, okay, aka Shinma. One of the most crucial part of the Colosseum battle. It can actually determine how you actually win or lose the Colosseums itself. So the first one usually happens between 15 minutes to 17 minutes mark. For me, it actually happens, towards the end of my second weapon rotation to the beginning of my third weapon rotation. Okay, see the notice, actually demon approaches is at 16-minute mark. So it's like 16 minutes plus minus 1 minute. That's a rough gauge. And the second one comes during 7 minute to 9 minute. Okay, let me see where it is. Okay, see it right here. It's like 7 minutes and 52 seconds, and the real time it triggers, so the exact time is somewhere around 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So during preparation, you can actually tell like what weapons are gonna be available. Okay, you can actually go to the game. You can actually click here and then you can click on demon summoning. So this is first half, this is second half. So during first half, you can actually, like for Rearguard, you're gonna prepare staffs, and then for Vanguards, you can prepare for hammer and bow, and then for second half, instruments, swords, and spears. In A rank, it's actually 75 times to summon them, so you gotta coordinate with your team really well to make sure you guys secure the demon summoning. This is really crucial. We actually lost our previous fight because we lost the second one, and of course because our opponent's actually really strong. And then the final tip is actually matching of the guilds. I'm not sure how true it is, but I saw on Reddit that how they match your next opponent is how much life force you're actually dealing with. So in the case that you actually want your opponent, maybe try not to go ham and pull back on your life force a little bit so that the next matchup will not be like really strong opponents. I'm not sure how true it is, but I'm gonna try this tonight as well, so we're gonna monitor the next following week. So I hope that final tip will help you, like look out for, especially during Gran Colo, so that you can have an easier matchup. I'm not sure how true it is, but I'm gonna try that without risking too much of a loss. And with that being said, I think that's all for today's video. And the last thing I want to do is do a little shout out to those guys in SINoALICE main Discord, the official Discord. Okay, shout out to these guys here: Jax, Soluna, Koropo, okay, MVP healer. He's the only healer in the verse 3 of this conquest. And finally Hestia. Okay, we actually managed to complete this. They actually carried me during this. So I just want to fast forward this. So I actually gotten easy stage clear. So thanks to them, I managed to get my Emil Nightmare, which is awesome. So it's these guys here. So thank you guys for helping out. So tomorrow I'm gonna be asking them for help to do verse 10 to verse 12 hard, so that I can start using my skip tickets and also my purification tickets to get as many medals before the near event ends in one more day, slightly more than 24 hours. And that's the end of today's video. We have lots of new stuff coming tomorrow on the 6th of August with the release of Nier Replicant and the end of Nier Automata collaboration. So that being said, let me know if you guys need a more detailed guide for Vanguard, Rearguard specifically, or in even more detailed Colosseum guide. I mean, this is a basic one and it drags on for pretty long. So I hope this basic guide actually help those of you who are starting out in SINoALICE. Maybe some reminder for those of you who have been playing, since day one like myself. If this guide helps, please consider subscribing to my channel for more SINoALICE content and give me a thumbs up. Okay, leave a comment below on some extra tips for Colosseum, for Vanguard, Rearguard, etc. If you have any useful tips, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.